Hey creative friends, welcome to my channel, and in this video we're going to use some of the all-purpose baking mix that I just did a video on so that you guys can see how that you can use it in place of any other type of all-purpose baking mix that you might buy, like Bisquick or Jiffy Mix or whatever. So it's the same thing. So what I've done is I found this recipe in this Betty Crocker's Bisquick cookbook, and there will also be a link to the recipe in my description because it's online. And if you don't make your own mix, great, just get yourself some Bisquick and make this recipe. It's for the autumn brunch waffles and cinnamon cider syrup. I realize it's not autumn, but this just looked too good to me and I wanted to make it. The cool thing is you're going to make waffles, fine, but you also get to make this cinnamon cider syrup that sounds phenomenal. So I've got all my ingredients out and I'm going to go through them for you. First of all, it needs 1 cup of sugar and 3 tablespoons of original Bisquick. I've got my DIY baking mix. And then I have a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 2 cups of apple cider, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 1/4 cup of margarine or butter. Now here's the thing. I'm using my home canned apple juice. Deal is, it calls for cider, but really, home canned apple juice, it's so good. The difference between real cider and apple juice is that cider is usually pressed and you'll get more bits pulp from the apples in there. And it usually is unpasteurized and needs to be refrigerated right away. Well, apple juice is pasteurized, but the thing is, it's a little bit sweeter, but you can use them interchangeably in a recipe, that's fine. And I'm just going to use my home canned apple juice because it's amazing. So I need 2 cups of that, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this open. And I have made apple cider, but let me see, where's my 2 cups? There we go. I've made apple cider, I just don't have any on my shelf, and I want to make this recipe today, right now. This is for breakfast. Alright, so there is my awesome top. Oh, and I want to show you guys something. This is super cute. Let me see if I've got one of these up here. I don't have one of my little tops. Alright, I thought I had a little top. I've got these super cute little red silicone tops that go on top of the jars that you can get in my Amazon store. I forgot all about them. Oh, I have one right here. I forgot all about it, but I think they're adorable, and they're down in my Amazon store if you want them. They're like a little silicone slip on the top of your jar top. Isn't that cute? I love that. Anyway, so there's that. A little sharing that. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to mix the sugar and the Bisquick in a 2-quart saucepan. So there's my sugar, and there's my Bisquick. And then I'm going to use my little whip, and I'm going to whisk these together so they're nicely blended. I think that Bisquick's going to make this thicken up a little bit. And then we'll stir in the cider and the lemon juice. Cook it over medium heat, stirring constantly until the mixture thickens and boils. I won't make you guys watch me do that. I will just go do it, and then I'll show you when it's all thickened and boiled. And then you're going to continue to boil it for about a minute. And then stir in the margarine until it's melted. Okay. Now, oh, cinnamon too. I was wondering, that's a dry ingredient. That needs to go in there too. Alright, so now we've got that cinnamon, baking mix, and sugar all mixed together. Now, I realize this is super sugary, but it's also a syrup, so that's why. Okay, so then we're going to stir in the cider and the lemon juice. Let me break up that little chunk right there. There we go. Okay, stirring in the cider and the lemon juice. And now I'm going to take this over and I'm going to put it on the stove, and I'm going to heat it on medium heat, stirring constantly until it thickens and boils, and boil it for a minute. And then I'll bring you back and show you the finished syrup. Now I wanted to show you this. I'm trying to get some light over here for you. But this hasn't even boiled yet, and you can already see that it's thickening up, and it's got that baking mix in there is making it nice and thick. So it's about ready to boil, and when it does, I think it's just going to be thick and perfect for these waffles. Okay, there we've gone for a full minute after it started boiling. I'm turning off the heat, and then I'm going to put this 1/4 cup of butter in there and stir this until it melts. Then we're going to get some waffle making. So there we go. Now I'm just going to stir that up in there until it melts, and this is going to be so perfect. It smells wonderful. Like, I don't see why this has to be an autumn thing. I think cinnamon is perfect all year. Alright, so I'm just going to stir this around until this butter melts, and then we will get the waffles made. Okay, you guys, I want to take a minute and show you this syrup. And I got to tell you, it tastes so appley and cinnamon. Oh my gosh. And you know what? This is going to be a lot more than you'd need on just the waffles. So I was thinking, what could I do with this? This would be amazing mixed in yogurt to make like an apple cinnamon yogurt. This would be like plain yogurt. This would be also fabulous. Just kind of drizzled over some sliced bananas. Like, I'm going to put this in the fridge. Oh, ice cream. Just put this on some vanilla ice cream. This is so good. So the link for this whole recipe will be down in the description because you can get this online, but I just wanted to show you how it's made, and this syrup is phenomenal. Alright, the syrup is amazing, and it's made, and it's ready for these waffles. So let me go over the ingredients that you need for the waffles. You need 2 1/4 cups of Bisquick or your DIY baking mix. You need 1 1/4 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of sugar that I have right here, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, got that right here, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, there it is, an egg, and a 1/2 cup of finely chopped, it says peeled apples, but I like the peels, so I'm leaving them on there. So there's the finely chopped and peeled apples, and also that one little tiny apple made more than a 1/2 cup, so I'm going to keep this just to sprinkle on top of the waffles when they're done. I think that sounds great. Okay, so now what we're going to do is says simply, after you've made the syrup, stir the remaining ingredients together in a large bowl until well blended, and then stir in the apple, and then you're going to use it to make your waffles, and my waffle iron is already preheated. So let me get my spoon out here, and we're going to mix all these things in. So let's get the milk in there, and the oil, and the egg. We'll just go ahead and put all these in there, and then I will mix them all up. And the sugar, and the cinnamon. You can mix this as you go, but I'm just going to do it all at once. There you go. You could use a whisk if you want, but my whisk is in the syrup over there. So, just going to mix this up, and then we're going to use this and make some awesome waffles. There we go. This is looking good. Now, I've got a Belgian waffle maker. I used to have a regular one and a Belgian one, and I just got tired of having both of them. So I like the Belgian waffles better, so I gave away my other waffle maker. And so these are going to be bigger than normal. This says it will make 2 4-inch waffles each, so it makes 6 servings, but it might make less since I'm making those Belgian waffles. Alright, so I'm going to get my whisk in here. And let me wash that off and get in here so I can get some of those chunks out, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, there we go. I got my whisk. There were just too many of those little bits of baking mix in there. So now this is a nice thick batter. So now I'm going to add in those apples and mix those around. This is going to be amazing. I can already tell. Get the apples out of my whisk. Okay, there we go. And now I've got my waffle iron preheated. There she is, my Toastmaster waffle iron. Let me get you over here where you can see a little bit. There you go. Now, it always seems like the first one is kind of a dud. So let's just see. So I'm going to give it a little preheat. Here, I'm going to give it a little spray, and now I'm going to put a scoop in here and right in the center. Then I'm going to close the lid, and my instructions, you're going to have to follow the instructions on however your waffle maker goes. I'll put a little bit more in there because these are the Belgian style waffles. Alright, now I'm going to close it and let it do its thing, and usually mine, the little light will come on. And the other thing I have, I've got my oven on, And I've got like a little rack in there so that I can put these in there and keep them nice and hot. And I think it keeps them a little bit, I like them crispier on the outside. So I'm going to let this go. And when this is done, I'll come back and show you a waffle. Now, my waffle, I wait for the steam, to stop so much steam. So that looks like a perfect waffle. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out and put this in the oven where I can keep these nice and hot until they're all done. And then I will plate them up and you can see how amazing this looks. Alright, there I've got my waffles out, and now I'm going to take this awesome syrup. Let me see if you guys can see. Oh, there you go. I'm going to put this over this waffle. It looks so good. And if you had like a whipped cream person, you can spray a little whipped cream on there, make it look like a professional thing. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. Now, I'll have Brian come in and do a taste test. I'm going to do both of these. The syrup is amazing. Alright, and now I'm going to sprinkle a few little bits of apple on top of there. Make it extra yummy. Kind of cool. There we go. Hey Brian, come taste this. Okay. Now, your hair is fine. All right, there you go. Take that. Take a taste of that. See what you think. It might be hot, like super hot. See little bits of apple in there? Let's see what you think. The syrup's really good, huh?
Yeah, very good.
Very good. All right, so we're going to go finish our breakfast because we've got to get the downstairs in order for our grandkids' visit. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.